Hey everybody, Daniel Maznet here with Cowboy Charcoal, and we have another fantastic recipe for you. This is probably one of my favorite dishes to cook. It's simple, it's just a big old plate of loaded nachos. Now, loaded nachos are great for the big game, they're great for any football game or sporting event. You're sitting around the house, what do we make for appetizers? Nachos are the way to go. We're gonna cook those today over Cowboy charcoal briquettes. We're doing them on the Oklahoma Joe drum smoker. Now, I've already got my smoker going. We're getting up to about 250, 300 degrees because we're gonna smoke a pork loin. Now, why are we smoking a pork loin? Well, it's a little less intimidating for some folks rather than cooking a full pork shoulder. It doesn't take nearly as long as cooking a pork shoulder. So let's get started and get this loin going. So when you go and purchase your pork loin, obviously it's boneless. You're gonna see some areas of fat on the pork. Now, you can do one of two things. You can just leave it there and it'll render out, and whatever doesn't render, you can just pull off and throw away. You can also score it a little bit, and that also kind of gives you some nice lines. It gives your seasoning a little bit of an area. You can see some score marks there. It gives your seasoning a little bit of area to penetrate the meat. So we're just gonna leave it like that today. So to season our pork loin, we're just gonna use a little bit of olive oil as a binder. You can use mustard as a binder. We're just trying to make sure that the seasoning sticks. There we have a little bit of olive oil all the way across. Today we're gonna use, we want it a little bit sweet. We're gonna have all kinds of flavors going across, but we're gonna use our Jack Daniel's honey seasoning. And honey and Jack Daniel's and pork loin, those all just go together so well. Okay, we're gonna tap that in. Make sure you season all sides, the top, the bottom. Oh man, you can really smell that honey. It's really good. It's a little bit sweet. So if you don't like your food as sweet, you can use Jack Daniel's Fire. You can use just our barbecue pork rub, which is just kind of a basic pork rub. There's all kinds of your favorite barbecue spices. Use what you like. I like a little extra seasoning on mine. I like it nice and flavored. So now that you're well seasoned, that's it. We're gonna put this on the smoker, close it down, and let it cook for about an hour until it comes up to 145 degrees. And then I'll show you the next step. Okay, now that our pork loin is at 145, we're gonna braise it so it pulls nice and easily. Just gonna add it to a braising pan. We'll add a little bit of apple juice. You need a little bit of moisture in there to make sure that it doesn't dry out, help it braise a little bit. We'll add some brown sugar, and that brown sugar is just gonna melt away. And then we'll add a little bit, so I like it a little bit sweeter. We'll add a little bit of maple syrup. Not too much, but just a little bit. The last step here is we'll add a little bit of barbecue sauce, any barbecue sauce that you like. And you'll be able to add a little bit more barbecue sauce once you start pulling it across. We're gonna let this cook for about another hour till it comes up to between 205 and 210 degrees, and it'll be ready for pulling. All right, so now we're at about 210 degrees, and this pork loin should easily pull apart. Mix it up. Make sure you soak up all of that juice inside. That's all caramelized apple juice, brown sugar. You've got barbecue sauce in there, so just make sure you got your maple syrup in there. So that's all flavor. So you wanna make sure you mix it around in there really good to make sure you have each piece is nice and moist. We've got just a few more steps to put together before I show you this beautiful plate of loaded nachos. We've got our chips ready to go on a foil-lined baking sheet. Foil lined just so it makes it a lot easier to clean up. So before we start, I wanna just grill some jalapeños. I like to grill jalapeños because it makes them a little hotter. It makes some of that capsaicin inside the jalapeno kind of spread throughout the flesh of the pepper. And when you grill them, it just brings out a lot more heat and a lot more flavor. So just toss them with a little bit of olive oil. We're gonna put them right on the grill. When we put them on the grill, I'm gonna show you what our pulled pork looks like. Okay, we've got a couple of these. Put those right on the grill. While we're building our nachos, we'll let those cook. Close those down. And this is what you're looking for. So after this is braised, you can see you've got nicely shredded pork. that braising liquid of apple juice, brown sugar, and a little bit of salt, a little bit of BBQ sauce, just kind of pulls all of that together. And now you can just take this and sprinkle it right over the top of your chips. And go ahead and load it up. These are loaded pork loin nachos, so you don't want to skimp on the amount of pork that you put on the chips. Now we're gonna add some black beans, and these are all just room temperature. We're gonna put them back on the smoker for a little bit of time. We're gonna add some diced chilies. Now I like both canned diced chilies and fresh jalapeños. I like to mix it up. Let's add some fresh onion, and now we're gonna load it up with some cheese. I mean, that just looks like a football game to me, I'll tell you that. Close the top and let that sit for about 15 minutes. You've got your grill running at about 300 degrees or so, so it shouldn't take too long. Main thing, you want that cheese to melt so you get nice, big, stringy, melted cheese in every bite. So give it about 10 minutes, we'll show you what it looks like. Okay, everybody, we're just about finished. We've got our cheese melting across our nachos. Looks just about perfect. Let's show you what it looks like here. There we are. We've got some nice melted cheese there. Make sure you wear a glove. We've got our jalapeños, which have been grilled. We'll cut a few of these up to go right across the top. Those look great. They smell really good too. Now remember, if you leave the seeds in the jalapeños, they're really gonna be spicy. If you want it a little bit less spicy, you can take the seeds out. But today, it's gonna be spicy. Last couple of steps, we're gonna add some pico de gallo right across the top. We'll add a little bit of fresh chopped cilantro right across the top. And then if you like, you can top it with just a little bit of sour cream. A little bit cold out here. And there you have some loaded pulled pork nachos for your next big game experience. Let's take a bite. Those taste fantastic. You can really taste that pulled pork, that smoke ring. You can really taste all of the smoke flavors that we get from the oak and hickory that's part of this hardwood briquette. Absolutely fantastic. Now make sure you bring your pork up to about 145 and pull it about 205, and you're gonna have a fantastic plate of nachos for your next big party experience. I'm Daniel Maznet with Cowboy Charcoal. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social channels, and look at cowboycharcoal.com for more tips, tricks, and great barbecue recipes. Until next week, keep cooking with Cowboy.